So, so we are none of the three bodies. We are talking about an understanding that we are not the physical body, we are not the subtle body, and we are not the causal body. So if you take the causal body casually, nothing is going to happen, even if we claim that we have understood. It has to be lived from moment to moment. That is why mindfulness or meditation sometimes is also known as living from moment to moment. Nothing is going to. No, I understand. Why you are repeating again? You have been talking about three bodies for so many weeks. Your mind may say, I have understood. So that I understood is this subtle body, is the ego. You are not living in it. So it is finished. We can see this in a different way. What is the goal of life? Suffering, to bring an end to the suffering. What is suffering? Suffering is stress, pain, problems caused by insecurity, unhappiness, dissatisfaction. Where they live in the mind. They are not living in the world outside. And Eastern wisdom says it is due to ignorance. And what is ignorance? Ignorance is causal body. That results in suffering daily. And that results into fear, anxiety, duality, jealousy, hatred, relationship challenges. Now we have understood why you are repeating again. Now I'm repeating, just for myself, not for you. So listen to it, this is what happens to our problem in our daily life. And I would say it has 1 million dimensions. This causal body takes over us in a very polite way. Now, I'm so humble, and why you are so crazy? So that is the sign of hypocrisy. So I can give you 1 million examples. Now, I have done so much for you. So why you are repeating it again? Thank you very much. Coming from the causal body. So second step is to remove that ignorance, and the ignorance is removed when we purify the mind and allow the intellect to work on the mind. So we minimize the if. When you purify that mind, the intellect takes over the mind. Now this mind is not inviting the impressions from the causal body. It does not manifest into the subtle. Do you remember? Yes, I remember. So what is we are doing? It is our discovery of the real self. The moment we are in touch with the real self, which is always present, you bring an end to the suffering, this causal body goes away, and we experience inner peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. So we are working what we are not. So keep in your mind, I will not talk about the memory is a great subject in Eastern wisdom. So I'm not the physical body and subtle body and causal body. That is the three factors. Second factor is that we are not the five sheaths. Now we have to understand why. They are connected to the three bodies. You can explain it through the bodies, but here in five sheaths we are working, we are trying to understand the effect of these three bodies over the real self. That is why we say it is a sheath, it is a covering, it is a veil. So that is where we have to understand it clearly, the five covering five sheaths. We have been living with a very small and futile stuffs in our daily living. We are living with honey, and honey said you something, you get upset. Such a small, futile thing. Now, I told you I wanted a cup of tea, but you made a cup of coffee. Unnecessary. Coming from causal body. The small things makes me angry, agitated, jealousy. We think and speak and act with a small thought, futile, useless thoughts, speech and action, which is very important for me. I paid you, and then I answered you that you are real self. Finished. How much you paid me, so I gave you this answer. You are real self. None. We disturb our relationship with the small stuff in the mind. It comes from the five sheaths, and that is what we are trying to understand. So what happens? The first thing in life, now you see the impact and the effect. In one or the other issues, we remain crazy, lazy, obsessed. We try to be clever. We are not able to leave these small stuffs in daily living. And then you get upset. Then you have a blame, complaint. Now, why I'm talking about, let us talk directly to the think of this, that lives in our behavior and attitude and the mind, and that goes a long way, and that is why we are not able to awaken ourselves. Even, you see this is a white shirt, a small black spot makes the entire shirt dirty. That is the nature of the mind. Our motivation, our intention, if it is coming from the causal body, creates these small stuffs. Done. Then you see nothing is happening. Now, I'm not talking of practical experiences. It just happened, I responded to the email. Otherwise, people will. So, last time we understand the real miser is one who lacks discernment. Do you remember? Yes, I remember. And if you remember, then that discernment pulls you, inspires you, motivates you to follow the path of the sheaths. And the moment you follow the path of the sheaths, you build such an unbroken relationship with the teacher. It took me almost 5 to 7 years to understand this. Again, you are talking of the same stuff. I have understood. Let us start talking about the five sheaths. Yes. I am here with you, but you don't see me. So this is what the covering is. This is what the sheath is. You know I'm here, but still I'm covered by thought, by speech, by action. So we are going to talk about the 5 sheaths. It is hidden. Real self is hidden behind. Can I say hidden behind? Now understand, because there is no other language to understand it. Can I say the space is hidden behind my home? But I never talk about the space. I always talk about that here is my house in Gilbert, here is your house in Phoenix, and here is your house in home. We forget the space. Is a space in the home or is home in the space? That is what the covering is. That is why I told you, I paid you. I told you, real self. Here is the sun. We have a yellow color, red color, brown color, orange paper. And here I see the color is, take an example, the color is blue here. But sun is not blue. So sun is present in the blue color. That is the 5 sheaths. So once you understand this principle, then we come directly to the 5 sheaths. We say that, so these 5 sheaths we have to understand in terms of functioning and the symptoms. And the moment that understanding is clear in the intellect, we have a knowledge and we find the real self. But if you don't follow these principles, then the real self is too far. We can talk intellectually that yes, there is a real self, it's a pure consciousness. Yes, we are living into it, but still the causal body is continuously creating a veil, and we don't see that result of permanent peace and happiness, love and wisdom. There is a proverb in India which says, if I translate, the monkey does not know the taste of a ginger. Why? He never eats ginger. So if I don't eat these 5 sheaths, I will never understand. No, I know. You have already witnessed in a couple of the sessions, some people started asking, there is a neuroplasticity, there is a Terry asked a beautiful question, and I said, neuron, neurotransmitter, both are protein. What do you want to find out? What exactly you want to know? We have to eat this. If we do not know the 5 sheaths, we will never come to that point. In terms of the functioning and the symptoms, I'm laying a foundation. So the outermost sheath is physical body. Second sheath is the energy sheath, energy covering. Third sheath is the mental. Fourth is the intellect. And the fifth is the pleasure. Simple meaning. They are known as Panch Kosha. Annamaya Kosha is known as the food sheath. Food is covering the real self. We will understand that. Remember. Second is energy sheath or energy veil or energy covering. It's made up of the energy. Third is the mental sheath. So it's different from the mind. That is what we need to understand. And the intellect sheath is different from the intellect. And the pleasure sheath, it is different from the happiness. No, you're talking of so much, prove it. My hand, with its skin, flesh, muscles, bones, blood, enzymes, all protein belongs to the first sheath. Clear? So now when I raise my hand, I need an energy. So there is an energy sheath. But energy is not consciousness, so there must be some agent who desires to raise the hand. It is mental sheath. Oh, it is mental sheath. See that? Who decided? Intellect. Oh, when raising the hand, did I enjoy? Yes, it is the pleasure sheath. All the five sheath is always present. And the real self is behind it. We have to live into that state of awareness. Simple example. And these five sheath is constantly at work. Where there is a movement, where there is a desire, where there is a decision, where there is a change, these five sheaths are always working. I'm talking, five sheath is working. You see I'm talking? Check. Lips, larynx, voice box. Thought is also an energy. If there is no energy, I cannot speak. But without the desire to speak, I cannot speak. But without making a decision, I cannot speak. So I enjoy speaking. Because I don't allow you to speak. So I'm enjoying speaking. So when we are aware of these five sheaths all the time, and we see them, it is constantly changing. And I cannot be the change. Somewhere, I am using a language which is not true, but still I have to use. Somewhere deep inside, I know, oh, here it is. This is what you are talking about, real self. Give me any example in your daily activities. All these five sheaths is constantly at work. So when it works, it means it is a functioning. So when it functions, if I discover how it functions, I can get out of the five sheaths. And once we are aware of these five sheaths, otherwise normally I say, no, I have spoken to you, I'm talking to you, I'm present here. No, I'm upset with you, I'm happy with you, I'm unhappy with you. And all these things continues. And we continue to live in ignorance. And that ignorance prevents me to find the real self. At the same time, it causes lot of suffering because of the causal body. So five sheath, the outermost sheath belongs to the physical body. But when we understand its functioning, then we go a little deeper. And then the three sheaths, the energy, mind, and the intellect sheath belongs to the subtle body, and the fifth one belongs to the causal body. So there we have understood causal body is the cause of all the problems. But here the causal body is also known as the pleasure body, unlimited pleasure. Do you eat pasta? Do you enjoy pasta? Yes, pleasure body. I love you, honey. Why? Because I'm so happy with you, pleasure body. It doesn't mean that you don't say it. I'm not here to to create any conflict. Pleasure body. Are you listening to me, enjoying? Yes, yes, pleasure body. Pleasure body. I was hungry and now I'm full. Pleasure body. Because that real self is different from these 5 sheaths. Look at it, how clear it is. Monkey does not know the taste of a ginger. Remember that. Not for you, but I'm just said this. No, I was just trying to give an example. Larynx, voice box. These voice box in the larynx, in the lips, cannot speak by itself. It demands energy, and that is the second sheath, is the energy body. Without the desire, I cannot speak. But if I'm not clear what I'm speaking, that comes from the intellect, and I'm enjoying that moment of speaking because you guys are not speaking. So hence, these are the workings from the 5 sheaths. And it happens all the time, 24/7, and we are totally engaged, involved into it, and we see, no, I'm speaking. So these 5 bodies creates in that I. Find out, where is the I? Is any of these 5 sheaths his I? And that is why our master says 12 CRP, I told you, listening, learning, contemplation, reflection, followed by practice. Do you recall UG Krishnamurti, one of the masters with whom I spent only 3 months, day and night, 24/7? I wanted to know what this awakening means and how it manifests. Awakening cannot be known by any other person. Only you will know that you are awakened or not. But at least, you see the symptoms, you see the working. He has only 2 pairs of clothes. 1 towel. 2 pairs of undergarments. And a small bag. That is all. He lived with that. He used to visit USA. You can Google out UG Krishnamurti. So everyone undergoes a different change in their life, but the change you will definitely undergo. You will feel a little more calmer, peaceful, and now the honey doesn't disturb you because that causal body is not there in relationship with the honey, with the son, with the kids. Anyhow, coming back to the UG Krishnamurti, it was a big surprise for me that he had a half cup rice, a coffee cup, plus 5 or 6 teaspoonful of cream. That was his food for 24 hours. He was such a handsome, most beautiful person. You just Google out UG Krishnamurti and you'll see how handsome he is at the age of 75 or 80 without using any plastic surgery. And we were about 10-15 people, and we used to eat 3 times in front of him, and But my goal was that I have to tease this guy and find out what is the reality. So you say, is saliva coming from your mouth? Because we are eating the food here in front of you. I'm talking about the 5 sheaths. I'm giving a practical. And he laughed. He said the chemistry of the body has changed. The consciousness takes over. It perceives that you are eating, which is different from the food, and which is also different from the taste. It blows your mind. Is that possible? It is possible when we get rid of these 5 sheaths. Much later, I understood this point. In those days, I was contemplating, then I went to my master, and then I said, this is what he's saying. He said, he's right. He's right. And the second example that I gave you about the fan, the sound of the fan and the movement. So you recognize these 5 sheaths. I recognize here is my room, here is the restroom, and here is a kitchen, and here is a living room. No, I recognize all of them. So after recognition, where this house stands in the space. No, it's a beautiful house. There is nothing beautiful. It is in my 5 sheaths. But the most beautiful is that space which equates like a real self. That is the journey. So once you live into that journey, even the causal body contains a lot of impressions. You may become agitated or angry, but you will recognize and realize. And ultimately, the time comes, it will be exhausted completely. You will continue to live with the real self. Means you and the real self are one. So the ignorance is gone. But any point I told you, even in the 5, in your relationship, in your expression, in your thought, in your speech, in your action, in relationship to the 5 sheaths, even if there is a small black spot, nothing is going to happen. That is why we say, purify the mind, purify the mind, purify the mind. The last point then we will see. So that is why we say in a language that real self is hidden in the cave or sheath. Last point. Today. Very important. But you have to follow, I told you, self-inquiry with discernment is the way of the Eastern wisdom. Scientific method of discovery of the material world will not work here. Did you understand? Yes, I understood. Are you clear? Yes. And the causal body comes from the background and it says something and it destroys everything. That level of the purity we need. Anyhow, real self is hidden in the cave. The cave is the cave of intellect. Cave is the 5 interlocking sheath or human personality. Personality is behavior and attitude, thought, speech, and action. What you speak, what motivation you have to speak. That motivation comes by default from the causal body, you are gone. Greek word, you know, the personality is a mask. So we have a 5 mask, not 1. Think of this. think of this, understand this, reflect on this, and just work the way I gave you a couple of examples. I gave you a couple of examples how the five sheet is working. You are listening. 5 sheet is working. Come on. You're listening to me. 5 sheet is working. You are disagreeing. 5 sheet is working. You agree. 5 sheet is working. You're angry. 5 sheet is working. You're happy. 5 sheet is working. You respect me. 5 sheet is working. You disrespect me. 5 sheet is working. So if the person understand it is the work of the 5 sheet, respect and disrespect, money and no money, honey or no honey, what is the state of your living? Find out. Don't be so serious. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Body is steady. Mind is looking inside. Now, do you understand what I say that mind is looking inside? Is the mind looking at the real self behind all the 5 sheet? Oh, this is what you have been talking. You should have told me in the very first session. I should have reached. I know. I'm sorry. Check now. Because of this continuous journey, the body becomes so steady, comfortable, and the mind is looking inside. Now the mind is aware. If any thought comes, thought contains these 5 sheets, it becomes aware. That is why I'm telling you today. And that is what we understood. Vidya dadati vinayam. Knowledge leads me to humility, means receptivity, means higher level of awareness, means ready to find the real self. So it gives me the power of discernment. Vinayam dadati patratam. The humility gives you a qualification. You become a qualified seeker. Did I talk about Shreyas, miser, patrata dhanamapanoti? Now you are a qualified seeker. That gives you the inner wealth, an extraordinary awareness to pick up every thought, speech, and action, and to discover the 5 sheet. Dhanat dharm. Then you live casually, naturally, but not taking the causal body casually. Then what happens? Permanent happiness reveals itself. This is the verse. 5 sheet awareness. Become just aware of the physical body that can be seen, perceived through our 5 sense organs. That is why we say it's a physical body. Anything that is perceived by the 5 sense organs. Your stomach inside, yes, perceived by the x-rays, ultrasound. All the physiological, biochemical changes can be perceived. Yes, it's okay. Can be perceived by the naked eyes? No. Oh, so all the physiological, biochemical, neurological changes belongs to the second body. Oh, do you talking of energy body? Yes. Understand through modern language. And then the desire in the mind to succeed in meditation. That's why we are meditating. In the state of sensation, comfort, and steadiness in the body. Why? When I experience that state, which helps me to separate this from the energy body. I will talk about this energy body. So then the intellect has made a decision, and I'm enjoying. No, you give me a good lesson. No, your pleasure body, the fifth sheath is enjoying this. See that? And then we will continue. So once now you understand, you have to see all the five bodies in the next step, where we look inside the chest, in the heart. Look inside the heart. Who makes that decision? Intellect. What it says? Om Shanti. So Om Shanti means I am the peace. So I am the peace, it pertains to the pleasure body. And then you work through the energy body also. Your desire is clear, energy body is there. Now this step I had been giving you in order to make you understand the five sheath and the physical body. So let us start. Quick, short breathing through both the nostrils, dropping gently Om Shanti. Body remains steady. You are already using energy. Annamaya, the food sheath, the energy sheath, the desire in the mind. Quick, short breathing. And intellect is focus. Intellect says focus there. Where? Inside the heart. And with the pleasure body of Om Shanti. Continue. Quick, short breath. You will discover the body continues to remain steady and the breath continues to change. And the intellect also remains focused on Om Shanti. How all these things are possible at the same time? Because they are separate, interconnected, and still independent. Look at it. Quick, short, gentle. Quick, short breathing continues. I'm giving only one expression, quick, short breathing, but it doesn't mean that I'm not talking the five sheath. You are aware of all those five sheath. We need not to go in search for the real self. Once we are aware of the five sheath, we are face to face with the real self. And stop this, do nothing, and again become aware of these 5 sheaths, starting from the outermost. I told you, anything that is perceived, cognized by the sense organs is nothing but the food sheath. We'll understand why it is known as a food sheath in our following session. And you are sitting. The physical body is sitting. The food sheath is sitting steady. It is because of the energy. That energy is holding it. You may say that, oh, how it is possible? The breath is moving, energy body. But you have a desire, that is the mental sheath. So they are interconnected. But you have made a decision, the intellect. Even if you are having a discomfort, your mind says, after all, I'm going to get peace. Lesser body. In every action, at every moment in our life. And in that moment, discover these 5 sheaths by the nyasa. Start breathing deep, silent and slow as you move the mind. As you inhale, move the mind inside the right arm from the shoulder to the fingertips. The mind and the breath going together inside the first sheath, outermost sheath. But you are looking into the space. That is the indication. And dropping Om Shanti, you sing. So that let the mind be absorbed completely into the space with Om Shanti to get rid of the causal body. And as you exhale, mind moves from the fingers to the shoulders. From today's practice, you extend this practice from 30-35 minutes to an hour through contemplation and reflection. Why I said so? I saw this crazy master U.G. Krishnamurti when sitting on one chair at least for 5 to 6 hours, almost in a state of doing nothing. And I asked him, what you're doing? I'm doing nothing, I'm just seeing the play of these 5 sheaths. Now inside the left arm. So now you see, when I say left arm, we normally refer to the food sheath, the outermost layer. But we are regulating the breath and the mind, the second and the third sheath. We have taken a decision to do it, that is the 4th sheath, and we are enjoying 5th sheath. They all are interconnected, but still independent. Because you separate The outermost layer, that is the physical or the food sheath. That is the reason the body doesn't move during the practice of meditation. It is not the result of 10 years of headstand pose or and other practices. It has nothing to do with it. Look at the greater level of ignorance. It helps, but it doesn't mean now inside the right leg. Knowledge is consciousness. It is, you can say, awareness. In that knowledge, I recognize I'm none of these 5 sheets, and still I exist, I am. What a beautiful way our masters teaches us. Even if I leave and you continue separating these 5 sheets, I separate my room, kitchen, restroom, living room, bedroom, walls. I can directly see the space inside the left arm. Now inside the left leg, please. You see causal body? It works, but now it doesn't make any, I recognize instantly. Shanti. You're singing. In your mind. Now inside the spine. We do it on the major parts of the body and return to the spine. At a higher level, they all are one in the same thing. You do it only on the right arm and you are there, done. But we continue doing inside the spine. And now the last step, leave that nyasa. Bring your awareness or the mind inside the heart. Visualize a triangle. Move the mind on a triangle. I know you remember knowledge, desire, and action is, then move the mind at the center of the triangle. Moving the mind deep inside the cave of your heart. That is why we use the word cave. So you are bypassing all the 5 sheaths while reciting mentally. And you are dropping Shanti because you have bypassed. Naturally, without any effort, there is a cognition of the 5 sheaths you are witnessing, and you are living into the state of silence. No, I cannot live into that silence for a longer time. Causal body, manifesting through the subtle body, may trigger a reaction in the outermost sheath. Let it be, simply recognize it is not me. Or the other way, the moment any thought comes, you can move the mind inside the triangle after moving it on a triangle into the cave of your heart, singing mentally, and then you are aware as if everything seems to stop. That stopping moment is silence. And then you drop Shanti and leave everything. You have to do nothing. Why? You are real self. Triangle, moving the mind there, then bringing your awareness to the center of the triangle. That checks your intellect and the mind, the third and the fourth sheath. And after that, cave of the heart. That is the movement, action part. Shanti, all actions are dropped. And we continue to witness the play of these 5 sheaths, 5 caves. When I'm reciting, you move there. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. We'll share our experiences once we return. In a natural way, bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside, know your experiences, bring the hands down. How are you, David and Jerry?
I very much enjoyed that. I noticed that every stage of the Nyasa, there was a step or a deeper space that I got into with each step. And then when we did the heart, it just, all the boundaries went away, and my body, I felt warm body temperature in the heart.
Yeah, that's quite deeper. And have you been watching David moving his hand? This is the work of the 5 sheaths. He's talking, he's moving the lips, energy is there, the mind is there, he's narrating the experiences. This is what happens in our daily life, and we are not this. Wonderful. How are you, Jerry?
Very good. It went by very fast, very fast. Just dropped into that space and focused on the space, heard your words, but it was just peaceful, no distraction.
No distraction, and very fast also indicates a sense of timelessness. We have a time and space in these 5 sheaths. There is no time and space beyond that. How are you, Stephen and Sam?
I'm good. During the fast breathing part, I immediately felt my body temperature change and just get absolutely warm, very warm. Then as we got into the Nyasa, I noticed that it was just an unlimited space. As I went through the limbs of the body, as you go down to the fingertips just went way past the fingertips into this empty, dark space. And then when I drew back, it went past if I was on the shoulder, it went past the shoulder, and I felt like this being sucked into my heart, and then back out again. And it was very quick.
Beautiful. It's very quick, indicates some kind of. Very good. Wonderful. How are you, Sam?
I'm good. I think my mind sheath was a little active at the beginning. But once we got to the triangle and we got to our heart, I had no ability to even have thoughts. I couldn't even, I felt a very warming sensation, very pleasant. But yeah, no ability to have thoughts beyond that.
Beautiful, yeah. And once that becomes, I should use the word stable, that state becomes stable. That's a wrong phrase in a sense that the real self is always stable. But we are trying to understand when that state becomes stable, you are there. How are you, Terry? I checked your email just now. So anything, if it is not connecting, the best way is to reconnect, refresh, and still it is not happening, then just call me. Nobody is going to listen, I will put it on the silent mode, but then I will see what I can do. So how are you?
I was able to do the Nyasa, I was glad.
Very good.
And my breath was not very deep. It was a short distance back and forth. But I was able to still do the different levels of the activity, which a lot of times I can't, so that's good. And everything was pretty fast, went by pretty soon. I wished I had more time to do it longer.
Ah, that's really good. So a sense of timelessness is there. Now you have to contemplate and reflect whether this problem affects you, the real you, or not. If not, then return to that state. And the problem is gone. I know there's a disclaimer, medical science will sue me, but you see, you lived into that state. I'm sorry to inform you, I don't know whether you know Dr. Eli, who is an eye surgeon, retired from Columbia. He also got the same problem.
I remember him.
Ah, you remember him. So
yeah.
He told me that he has the same problem. I'd love to invite him to the session. Let us go to Barbara. How are you, Barbara?
I'm very good. I felt very much at peace. I had no thoughts whatsoever, and I just didn't want to leave that space.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's really good. Everything is happening. How are you, Rakesh?
Thank you, sir. Today, when I was on a triangle, I experienced that I was totally still, and I was looking at those.
It's okay, continue.
Tools available. The tools available with me, those tools are working, and I'm just looking, observing them. So, and I was totally still.
Yeah.
Doing nothing.
That's really good. That's really good. That's a wonderful state. Keep doing it. How are you, Vaibhav?
Sir, I'm good. It was very peaceful, very relaxing. It's more like that I can be at this moment, I can be aware of this moment rather than aware of my thoughts, what is moving. So when I'm aware of this present moment, it was peaceful, it was free.
Beautiful. Beautiful. We all are progressing. So how are you, Lalit?
Sir, it felt really good, sir.
Good. Very good. So are you, Sangeeta?
सर बहुत अच्छा था, बहुत peaceful और thoughtlessness.
Very good. She experienced the state of thoughtlessness. How are you, Anastasia?
Thank you. It was very deep and timeless. Like time has stopped at all. Everything was so slowly, and it was hard to come back. And I was wondering, if I can see this manifestation of my intellect, mental body, and energy, who sees this manifestation? Is it my mental body?
No, the mind is also manifesting. Mind is also manifesting. It's a beautiful question. And the simple answer, the mind is also manifesting the thought, feeling, and experiences. The question is, who is seeing all this? Real self. That is what we are saying. Yeah. Whether you say it's a seer or a knower, that is where the real self lies. Yeah, real self, Anastasia. Young, but she asked pretty good questions. That's good. So contemplate and reflect. How are you, Ashok? Now, it doesn't mean that I don't appreciate you all. I appreciate you all. If you think that, you are not being appreciated, causal body. 5 sheaths. How are you, Ashok?
Sir, more peaceful and more aware.
Yeah, very peaceful and more aware. So just know that, contemplate and reflect on these 5 bodies, 5 sheaths. We differentiate between the 3 bodies and the 5 sheaths. So if you have any question, you can ask me. So you see that we have to understand constant from moment to moment. Oh, yes, something came to my mind, and can you contemplate, especially now everywhere in the world, we say I am sorry, at least many a times. In our conversation. And behind I am sorry, it is the 5 sheaths that is working. 5 sheath claims that this is I am, hence I am sorry. Did you understand what I want to say? Every time you say I am sorry, it coming from the 5 sheaths. So now 5 sheath claims that I am this physical body, subtle body, causal body, pleasure sheath, intellectual sheath, mental sheath, energy sheath, or energy cave, or the food cave. As if the car breaks down, you say, I break down. Phone is not working, I'm not working. No, you are working, you are still listening, that is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.
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 Namaste. Thank you.
Namaste, everyone. हाँ जी, सब ठीक ठाक हैं, दिल्ली ठीक है।